Can you all hear me okay? We'll get started here in just a second. All right, well, we'll get started. And want to welcome everybody. Let me know if I'm a little too loud. Good question, Dayton. Why not? So, I just want to do things a little different. I had some people ask me if I would do the mask, and I had to oblige. Good answer. All right. So let's get started. And here, I don't know if I'm ready to do all of it in the mask, but we'll have to give it a shot. All right. Well, let's get started. As you can see, the quality is better, and we are going to. I will put it on Zoom. We're going to get started, and I want to welcome everybody. And what I want to do, as you can see, looks like we have a better stream, and so I'm hoping that we found the magic formula to help this continue. I will be looking over and checking the answers. There's a bit of a lag, so let me know if there's probably going to be just some kind of overlap. So I apologize for the Captain Kirk pausing between everything. And so we're going to get started. So what I wanted to use is something called the Cultivate app. Now I know I said yesterday that I wanted to have Ask Mike Anything, and I'm going to move that to Thursday, because now that we found a rhythm, I think that I can get this going. And tomorrow, even though that we have the 6:30 time frame that we're all going to meet on Zoom, which I will wear the mask or a mask, we are also still going to do the 2 o'clock check-in, and it will be at 2 o'clock. Just like everything, just trying to get the schedules meshed and stuff, but I want to make this going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a link for at least the Apple Store. I will get something for the Android store. And this is going to be the devotional that I use. And so what I'm going to go from today is from the March 24th. And the whole idea of this is called God is with me. And so the verse that we're going to be using is Psalm 23, verses 4 through 6. And this is you know what, there's feedback in my headphones, so I'm going to try to use just my microphone. All right, we're going to go with that. So I think we should still be able to hear everything okay. So in Psalm 23, verses 4 through 6, what this is essentially David writing. I mean, and it's one that that a lot of people have heard. It's one of those chapters that you memorize when you're a kid if you've gone to Sunday school. It's just one of those things reminding us that the Lord is our shepherd. And we're going to be focusing on verses 4 through 6. So I'm going to read that from my phone, and it says, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Now, right now, especially in the time that we're in, we hear some crazy terms that we may not have had to hear in a home type of setting. So we've heard things like lockdown. We hear these mandates and suggestions to stay at home. And there is a lot of lag. So, okay, so let me see if I can just go to this. Is that better? Okay. So we hear these mandates and we hear these suggestions about people having to stay at home, how there is have a shelter in place. You see people stocking up. They're encouraging people to, maintain certain distances and stuff. And this is stuff that's scary. And I mean, if you would have imagined that a couple of months ago that this would have even been a reality, I don't think this is something that any of us would expect. I mean, when we first heard about all this stuff, we would never imagine that it would have gotten to this. And so we see the changes and we see it happening so often that lately that it's just day by day that there's all these changes. And so right now, like, truth be told, we're living in a scary moment in the history of the world. Like, we've seen these movies, and I see them, the Facebook, the social media posts when we talk about things like the Hunger Games, and you see this post-apocalyptic stuff, and people are now making those references to this, even though we're not near that yet. But there's always, the mind wanders, and we have these, these thoughts or whatever, and you may be, for some of you, I mean, the question I want to ask is, how you doing? I mean, for some of you, you may be struggling with anxiety. For some of you, it might be total and complete boredom. For some, it might be disappointment because of opportunities lost. And I'm thinking of those that maybe are finishing up a year of school that was incredible, or, even for those that are finishing up their senior year. I mean, I just think about that. And so and for some of you, you may be grieving the loss of a loved one, or you have this fear and worry and concern because of family members that you have that may be at risk for it, or there's just that fear, that anxiety that's there. And no matter how this is affecting you, how big or how small it seems, what's important is that I think it's, well, not important, but I think it's safe to say that it's affecting all of us. And I wanted to reflect on this because Psalm 23 is incredibly comforting in times like this. I know that sometimes we can take it for granted. Oh, okay. I'm glad that it is better now. A lot of times we take this for granted. It's just something that we memorize. You may see it, we may see it on little sculptures or figurines or plaques, or people may quote it. But it's something important to remember because, honestly, it's comforting in time like this. I would encourage, and we were talking about finding these clear-cut ways for us to get with God. I would encourage to look at these verses, take Psalm 23, just relax, shut out your distractions, and go through verse by verse everything that Psalm 23 has. Go through that psalm one line at a time slowly, and just think on that verse. Think about what David wrote about God. And if there's something there that you're like, I want that, I know that I want that, make that your prayer. So if we go back and we take a look where it says, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. God, I want that comfort. Make that your prayer. And so hopefully the me looking down isn't bothering you. We'll keep working on that. I found out there's teleprompter apps, so stay tuned. But we had to get the reception first, one thing at a time, right? Now, here's the thing, though. What I love about this is in this verse, in this passage, it talks about how God is with us, even though. And I mean, if you think about it, it's even though dot 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 you are with me. So even though I'm scared, you are with me. Even though I'm anxious, you are with me. Even though I'm brokenhearted, you are with me. God doesn't leave you to go through the darkest valleys alone. And so when I talk about, and when we talk about this pursuit that we have of trying to pursue God and see what he, listen for him, how we build that relationship, it's because we need to have that awareness of when he's there for us, when he's that shepherd walking alongside us. I want you to reach out to him today. I want you to take comfort in knowing that you're not alone. I want you to find strength in knowing that he is with you. And today, and I mean, I just want to go back, like, think about this. You prepare, and this verse stuck out to me a little bit. It says here, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. I mean, you can take that a number of different ways, but in every situation, God has a response for us. And if you think about it, if we really have that belief that God is all-knowing, and if we have that belief that, God really, like, he created us, so who better to know the ins and outs than the man who created us, the one who created us? He has a response for each situation. And I think a lot of times where we get confused and where we get caught up is the idea that it may not have the solution we want. But right here, he wants to be the shepherd. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. What valley are you walking through right now? And this is something that I'll type out, but questions to ask yourself, like, what valley are you walking through right now? And in these verses, what part of God being the shepherd stands out to you? And I would encourage you today to go through the psalm line by line, slowly, going through it line by line, and just reading those verses and seeing what it means to you, and for those things that you want, praying it. It feels like, and I oftentimes come back to a lot of the same points over and over again, but it feels like now we're really starting to see the concept applied of that God never guarantees that we'll be problem-free, but he promises that he will be there through the problems. And right now we're in the middle of it. And we are in the middle, and I mean, and not just because of this, but because of this, it has created isolation and the byproduct of isolation, which makes it tough. Which is why, even though I had a doctor's appointment, it was a med check, my bad for the time frame, I wanted to make sure that we had this time to at least connect. And so here's the plan. Tomorrow, I am going to go through the app. Tomorrow is me and my wife's anniversary. I did have some plans, but those had to change. We are going to have it tomorrow at 2 p.m. Also, we are going to now. So 2 p.m. is here on YouTube. 6:30 p.m. we are going to have our Zoom. I do that intentionally. I'm excited to see people. Please invite your friends or people in the youth group. And if you have any youth, one thing that I thought about is if you want an introduction, if you want to introduce somebody to the youth group, or you want them to get a feel for what's going on, and I hear that from some of the students that they want to invite people, but it can be kind of intimidating. Well, this is a low point of entry in that you can hop on. So forward this link, forward this link. We'll do the Zoom calls. We'll keep doing that stuff, and people can get introduced to what we have going on, because I'm willing to bet that you're not the only people out there that could use somebody to reach out to or an avenue to reach through. And never forget, no matter how scary it may seem, I have the mute all button, and that's going to make everything okay. So I tell you, that may be one of the greatest discoveries out of this whole thing. Um, yeah, go for it. Invite your friend Ellie. Invite people. Give them the link. So I will be sending links out for this stuff. I will be sending it to parents. I will be sending it out on Facebook, Instagram, whatever I can. I'll be sending it to students that I have the cell phone numbers. Invite your friends. This is not youth group limited. I'm providing this opportunity for our youth group, but if you need friends that need that daily encouragement or that daily check-in here, or you want them to be part of our Zoom group and see the amazing group that we have, please, please invite them. I would love that. I'm actually really enjoying doing this, and now that I think I might have some technology figured out, I think I may enjoy it even more. But I would love for it to be, I'd love for us all to be a part of this, and yeah, definitely. So I'm going to close this in prayer, and I'm going to be praying the prayer that came from the Cultivate devotional. And this Cultivate devotional was written, it's actually through the City Light Vineyard in Pennsylvania, actually, no, in Delaware, I'm sorry, the City Light Vineyard in Delaware, but, excuse me, but a lot of it came from the City Light Vineyard, but a lot of these devotionals are provided by Christian Dunn and a team of people who represent Vineyard Youth USA. So they've created this app as a way for us to connect. So I would encourage you to download this app. I would encourage you to be a part of it. And then even if we go through it and it seems like it's review for you, then you can share your thoughts that came with it. And so this is a prayer that I want us to remember and just to pray. This is, and for those of you that wonder when I say let's give it to God, this is what giving it to God looks like. That God, I pray that you would help me with my fear and anxiety and sadness. I pray that you would be near to me and that I could truly be aware of you. And then after you pray that, sit back and listen and see what God has to say. So tomorrow we're going to be reading through the devotional. On Thursday, we will have Ask Mike Anything, where I will answer questions that you have. We'll take about 15-20 minutes to do that. I'm really happy that you guys joined on. I'm really happy that you all are a part of this. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe. Have your parents subscribe. Have friends subscribe. I would love to see what we can do with this. I will see you tomorrow and actually, I'll tell you what. Tomorrow night at 6:30, I will show you the color options and choices of the t-shirts. Oh, wow. I guess we're going too fast for the encoder, whatever that means. Yeah, but whether or not yes, the question is, yes, I will answer. But the question is, will I answer them? Like, you can ask me any question, but the question is, will I answer them? That's the question. I have more luchador masks. I'm hoping I can figure this out to where I could do this at my house because I just hung up those belts. But I'm excited to see you guys tomorrow. I'm excited for us to connect. So 2 p.m. tomorrow, YouTube channel. Also, 6:30 p.m. by Zoom. I'll be sending out some reminders. And I love you guys. I miss you guys. And I cannot wait until tomorrow. You have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.